meeting for November 10th, 2025. If you would please stand for our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another beautiful day in Berry County and safe travel for all of those with our interesting winter weather that has come upon us. A special thanks to all of our veterans who are serving near and far, for all those who have given the ultimate sacrifice of life to protect this land and our liberty. Lord, we just ask you to continue to keep your hand over our armed forces, our first responders, all the people that make our world a better place to live and protect us, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Before we get started, we would certainly like to welcome Berry County Christian this morning for joining us for part of their government lesson, correct?
Yes.
Thanks for coming. Roll call. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Bassett. Here. Carlton. Absent. Campbell. Absent. Getty. Here. Hatfield.
Here.
Smelker. Absent. Tunison.
Here.
And Jackson.
Here. Thank you. Reports from state and county officials. Are there any state or county officials with us this morning that would like to give an update to the board?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I want to take the opportunity to introduce Jeff Crisp, who is our incoming Deputy Administrator Finance Director. Today's his first day, so we're throwing him into a commission meeting on his first day, but he'll be working with Luella over the next few months and transition, get up to speed as best we can. But look forward to working with him and continue to move us forward. Jeff comes from the gaming industry and tribal side, so he knows a little bit about governments, and so we're going to get him up to speed on that, but he knows finance and accounting, which I'm happy that we're having him on board. So just want to introduce him to everyone.
Thank you, Jeff, and if you can figure out how to get my money back from the casino, I'd appreciate it. So, you know.
We'll work on it. Pleasure meeting everyone.
Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good morning. Liz Lenz, SATF Coordinator.
Bill Mattson, of course, Family Support Center.
And Bill and I have been working on the opioid settlement funds RFP review process. As you know, Bill was our chair of our review committee and has agreed to do so again. And we wanted to give you an update of where things are, because on October 31st at 4 p.m. was the deadline for accepting RFPs in our second iteration. And we did receive 5 applications, which will all move towards the review process. And we want to be as transparent as possible, but we're not going to discuss any of the applications here today because we haven't gone into review yet. But it looks like the request is for a substantial amounts, even maybe a bit over the 250 that we had published, but it's looking good. So I want to thank you for your support during that process. We also just wanted to let you know that we are, as we have spoken to you, we have revised the review process, and reviewers have been recruited and will be meeting this week or next, and then reviewing, coming together, interviewing, and then we brought you a piece of paper that kind of outlines our hopeful timeline. We know we have these wonderful holidays in front of us that we all enjoy, and that tends to, just over the years of doing this work, that absorbs time. So hopefully we'll be back to you, Bill and I, or mostly Bill, with the recommendations from that review committee in January of 2026. Some changes that we are requesting is that initially we had said that anybody that was involved in the creation of the RFP would excuse themselves from ever applying from the funds. And as you know, we're in a situation here right now where many agencies that may have said that they would never apply are either needing to in the future or would like to apply in the future. So we'll make those changes as transparently and as without any conflict of interest in the future to be able to do so. Anything that you want to?
How about the board representative?
Oh, yes, thank you. It's really important to us on this review process that we do have a member of the Board of Commissioners. And so I did reach out to Eric last week and ask if, and I know that he spoke with you, Chairman Jackson, about getting us one or two folks from this board to sit on this committee with us. And so it is a tight timeline, so if anybody has it in their heart to come and join us, we will be very efficient and hopefully effective with people's time and be honored that everybody is busy. So we think it's really important that we have someone from this board to help us with this. Myself and Jess Irwin, we can't vote, and right now we're sitting at 7 or 8 people confirmed, so we'd like to have an odd number, so either 1 or 2. So we'll keep you posted, but if anyone has an interest, this is me begging. Marcia, thank you. I almost called you Mike.
I'll do
Sorry.
that. Dave, I'll do that.
Okay, so Bob and Marcia
Awesome.
will do that.
Thank you.
Normally, we nominate the people that don't show up for the meetings, but, you know, so you guys are making this way too easy, so, you know.
No, this is an interesting thing.
And if you have any questions, Bill will answer them.
I think we have 5, just from a quick look at the proposals, 5 proposals that don't overlap a lot. So they're giving the county a different look at spending that money, so it should be interesting.
Yes. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Appreciate your work on this and the updates. Thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, good morning.
Morning,
I'd
Rich.
like to, Rich Timke, Director of Barry County Community Mental Health. I'd like to start by thanking all the veterans. I know there's some on the commissioners group here. Just thank all the veterans in our community as well as family members that I have serving currently in the Air Force. So start with that. And just to recognize, we probably wouldn't be able to do this without what y'all have done for us, so really appreciate that. So Barry County Community Mental Health, just give a few updates here. So we continue to see more and more individuals come in for services. This year compared to last year, we've seen an increase of approximately 15%. Lots of people like to come in and audit us. So we have several financial audits, administrative audits, clinic audits, and Liz, who was just up here speaking, also receives a prevention audit. Our prevention team received 100%, and I think that was like the 3rd time in a row, so that's significantly outstanding. Clinical audits have been between 95 and 100%, and our administrative and financial audits have been at the top. So very, very impressed with the work that our staff do throughout the years. Things that we've implemented over the last year, so we have an AI tool which allows clinicians to, it basically summarizes what took place in a session. And so, excuse me, so it reduces the amount of time that it would take a clinician to do a note from 15 to 20 minutes down to, right now, like 4.5 minutes. So it's a significant cost savings and a significant life balance issue for most of the people that have used that. So that's a significant implementation on our part. Other things we've done over the last year, just to give you an update, we've established a DBT group, a dialectic behavioral therapy program. It's a pretty intense program. And then that also was audited by the state of Michigan. So they come in and say, okay, you started this new evidence-based program. Are you doing that like you're supposed to? Are you hitting fidelity? We hit top scores on that as well. We added a psychiatric nurse practitioner. So now we actually have 2 psychiatric nurses on site to prescribe and see individuals, and which is great. When I started at Barry County, we had 0. They were all telehealth, so we have 2 providers on site now. We continue to expand the type and number of groups for group therapy offered to individuals. We continue to expand the amount of insurance providers that we've credentialed throughout the year. We added a recipient rights training. As you probably know, we have to provide recipient rights training to several individuals besides just our staff. And so we offered a early evening 1, so like I think it was 4:30 to 7:30, and that's actually now one of our more popular time slots for that, so. Quickly move along here, see. So that's kind of just some updates, kind of what's going on currently at CMH. Two big things. So our house is kind of, we have, I tell people, the CCBHC house, and then we have this smaller, normal CMH Medicaid house. So that's the funding kind of gets split. So the state decided that they would, with the CCBHC services and funding, they would pay us directly for that. So it would not go through, if you remember me speaking before, how we have the state of Michigan, we have 10 regional hubs currently, and then that money gets passed down to CMHs. So currently, the state decided they would just pay us directly for those CCBH services, which sounds great, but there's a lot of work that goes into that, like changing of billing systems, data collection, data entry, make sure those data systems are talking to each other, changes in EMR. So that started October 1st, but still is kind of a work in progress. We've billed and actually have gotten paid, which is a good thing. So the process is still working its way out, where we're needing to see the errors and then be able to resubmit those. The other big thing, I think I spoke before here, is the bid out of the PIHP system. So that's still moving forward. There was a hearing in November. And in essence, it was kind of a part win, part loss, I guess, for the CMHs and the PIHPs. So the state ruled that, or the judge ruled that the state could, they have the right to put forward the RFP and continue that. They also have the right, the judge said, to go from 10 regional hubs to 3 or 20 or 15. They could determine that, the state could determine that. But what the judge also said is that in anything they did with that determination, they had to do within the law. So in other words, they couldn't use the RFP system to override the mental health code. So there's actually a hearing December 8th to determine that. So most individuals, my colleagues, and most in the system, questions, concerns about the current process, not that most would say that, yes, the system continued to improve. There are things we can do differently. One of those questions or concerns is that the way the current RFP is written, it violates code, it violates law. Specifically, the mental health code gives the right to CMHs to direct network providers to do utilization management. And so this RFP would give that to this new entity that would take it away from the CMHs. CMHs, in essence, would become just a provider. I think I mentioned before that privatization of the system does not necessarily eliminate a layer, especially if you have a larger nonprofit agency from out of state overseeing that. It probably adds a layer. But the bigger thing too is that the private insurance, they tend to spend on average 15 to 20% on their overhead, and that comes from them, not our association. Those are their numbers. And then that's as compared to 2% for the current system. So again, that's $500 million taken out of the system, which currently goes to services for individuals that need those on a daily and regular basis. So we're continuing to advocate, to fight, to make the changes necessary, and hope that at some point the state would sit down and talk or negotiate, whatever the right word is there, with PHPs and CMHs. So yeah, that's my update. Appreciate you guys and what you do.
You answered my question. I was going to ask you how the battle, so to speak, was going with the payment system and what the state was thinking about doing versus what going on. So that was a good explanation. So,
Yeah.
And in short, nothing's settled yet.
Exactly. It's nothing settled yet. It's up there. But like I told my staff last week, we are still moving forward. People still coming for services. They still need to find that path of recovery. There's still people needing help. So I tell my staff that they're hope dispensers, and so we still need to do that. We still need to provide that hope to people. I feel that I still have hope and confidence that we're still going to be doing what we're doing. It just may look slightly different. And so when I say we're advocating, we want to make sure that that slightly different aligns with law and aligns with what the people that come for services and need services, what they voiced as well. So, yep.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Thank you, Rich. All right. Any additional state or county reps that would like to address the board? Moving on with our agenda, limited public comment at this time. Any member of the public wishing to address the board on any item listed on our agenda may do so for up to 3 minutes. Morning.
I'm Kelly Kieran. I saw you in May when I presented the MSU Extension annual report, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a 4-H update now that fair has concluded. At the end of the 2025 4-H year, we had 873 youth enrolled in traditional 4-H clubs. And at the large animal auction at the Berry County Fair, $1.15 million was brought in that went directly back into the hands of the youth. So that's the amount after the commission was taken for the auction, for the folks who put the auction on. That is an outstanding number, and it's much higher than my other counties, and I think it speaks volumes to the tradition and the work that our Berry County youth do. Another number that I really wanted to take the opportunity to share, in May, I shared that we had 247 volunteers in Berry County. As of today, we have 308 volunteers. And I think it's important to put that number into perspective. Kent County, a county with 680,000 people, has 135 volunteers. So for Berry County, that's 1/10 of the population have 300 volunteers. Words can't express the mentorship and the safe, caring adults that you have in this county working with the youth. It's really impressive, and I just wanted to take the time to share those numbers because I think, again, it speaks volumes to the program that Berry County has here in the 4-H youth development.
That is awesome. $1.15 million.
Yeah, and that's just the large animal. The small animal, I believe, brought in about, I think it's like 500,000. I don't know that number specifically, but the small animal also brought in a really great number. And that's just going back into the economy here in Berry County. It's helping youth learn how to be business people and how to manage their funds. And there's a lot of learning that goes into that. 4-H is how I bought my first truck when I was in high school. It taught me how to budget, taught me how to promote my project, and kids are learning a lot here through that. And it'll help them as they continue to go.
Awesome. That's a great update. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
That's sensational. Additional public comment?
Happy Marine Corps birthday, but he's not here today. You're captain, weren't you, in the military, Army? Yeah, 1 Army, 2, 3, half the board serves. I think that's impressive, so. I'm gonna feed off from that. We also do interviews with these kids, and it's cute, because they come in from this tall to this tall, coming in to do interviews, and we work on their interview skills, and everything from just that beginning handshake, because I'm picky about that. Don't give me some little, like, I don't care, I want to know you're on the other end of that thing, to posture and how to enunciate things and stuff. So, yeah, I have a lot of fun with the 4-H kids, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. Just give everybody a little, on my end with the law enforcement, we travel right around 370,000 miles a year just doing law enforcement. So, just give you an idea how many miles we put out there. We're 576 square miles, and usually we have 3 or 4 deputies covering that, and about 370,000 miles. So, thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment? Moving ahead with our agenda, approval of the written agenda. At this time, any member of the Board of Commissioners may ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda and placed under items for consideration. Hearing no such request, does any commissioner wish to change the agenda additionally? Hearing no such request, the agenda is approved as written. Various correspondence, does any commissioner have correspondence they'd like to share with the board?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I am continuing to receive correspondence about the issue down at Mud Lake and with Jim Dahl, the Drain Commissioner. They're in continuous communications with representatives locally and trying to work through that. So just wanted you to be aware, I'm getting additional correspondence even in the last week, so it's
Constant.
not solved.
Yeah, it is not solved. Thank you. Any additional correspondence? Okay, consent agenda. Commissioner Bassett.
Yes, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda item, which is the approval of the October 28, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes.
Support.
Motion by Bassett, support by Getty for all items listed on the consent agenda. Discussion is not allowed and a roll call vote is required. All those in favor vote aye, opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent. Campbell's absent. Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smoker's absent. Tunison.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The consent agenda is approved. Presentations, we have none this morning. Public hearings, we have none this morning. Items for consideration. First up, Kai Gritter with MSU Extension. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share. As mentioned, my name is Kai Gritter, and I serve as MSU Extension's District 7 Director, covering Barry County, Allegan, Ottawa, and Kent County, same regions as Kelly does. I also provide interim coverage for 3 Southwest Michigan counties, and that might go through next year. We're looking for a district director to cover those counties soon. So as I mentioned before, thank you so much for this opportunity to present and for your continued partnership with MSU Extension. We have been serving Michigan communities for over 100 years, starting off in 1915, and our mission continues to be to provide evidence-based and research-based practices to our communities. And this is in partnership with our local stakeholders. Like Kelly mentioned, we can't do a lot of the work without the wonderful volunteers, so very grateful for our local partner organizations, volunteers, and counties. A lot of the work that we do is through programming at local schools, groups, and organizations. We have one-on-one consultations on the farm or maybe through our product center, and also through resource sharing. Wherever there's a community event, we want to show up and share our resources, whether it's a veteran fair or a youth fair or just general community events that are occurring. So getting to the crux of today's presentation, I would like to officially request a county contribution of $140,249 for MSU Extension's fiscal year 2026. And this is a 3% increase from what we requested last year, which was $138,181. And the reason for this 3% request increase is due to cost of living expenses and increases. So we recognize that this amount is not the full amount that we get from Barry County. This is in addition to the office space that we're very grateful for, and that is located on South Church. So this standard agreement puts into place how we partner with Barry County. The requested amount directly funds 1.5 full-time equivalent staff. So 1.0 goes directly to our 4-H program, and 0.5 goes towards our clerical support staff, who is available whenever we're open from Tuesday to Thursday. And you'll notice that is detailed on page 3 of the MOA document. You might also notice a change to our terms from the previous year. That's also on page 3. So instead of requiring a 120-day written notice for termination, if we ever need to come to that, we now require only 60 days, and this is in alignment with MSU Extension policy. So as part of our partnership, MSU Extension commits to providing programming throughout our 4 institutes. This could be through in-person programming or virtual programming. I had actually emailed our program and services document to Eric, and maybe we could forward that to you so you see just the breadth of programs that MSU Extension offers in the state. We We do believe that we bring a high return on investment and engage in cost sharing with you through all the resources, expertise, and programs that we bring to Berry County. Now, I will share some unfortunate news. We typically had 5 staff based here in Berry County. We're currently down to 3, but we will be looking to hire 1 more. I'll share a bit more about that shortly. I'd mention our county support staff. Her name is Patricia Snyder. She is the first point of contact when you come to our office. We also have our 4-H program staff. Our program coordinator is Liddy Rose. She would be here today, but she's on vacation, which is great, and that is why Kelly was here to represent 4-H. She is part of our Children and Youth Institute, and she works collaboratively with the volunteers that were mentioned before. Over 300 at this point, and she oversees over 890 youth and 45 4-H clubs. Now, you are very familiar with what is going on with Eden County. We are getting more requests for clubs from Eden County to join us, so these numbers will be increasing most likely. The unfortunate news was that our 4-H temp on-call staff worked her last day on Friday. We miss her. She has gone on to greener pastures, and I'm very grateful for her work so far. We will be looking to refill this position in the near future, this week actually. And then the next staff person that we have is Laura Anderson. She is our health educator, and she's part of the Health and Nutrition Institute. That's the institute I was a part of before I assumed this role as district director. We did a lot of similar programming, chronic disease prevention and management, and she is actually the state lead for our diabetes health education programs, and she facilitates other programs within the region. She does a lot beyond Berry County, but even in a recent conversation we had, she said she'd really like to focus a lot on local programming. Until September 30th, we had a community nutrition instructor based in Berry County, Sydney Miller, but unfortunately due to SNAP Ed elimination, she's no longer with Extension. So we do not provide nutrition programming like we once did as of October. We do still provide nutrition education within the region, but those staff are based in Kent County. It's through a different grant, not SNAP Ed, it's Expanded Food and Nutrition Education, and that is only in 15 counties within the state, so there is some limitation there, as unlike SNAP, which was in all 83 counties. So finally, I just want to share that although no agriculture and agribusiness staff or community foods and environment staff are permanently located here in Berry County, our District 7, which consists of those 4 counties I mentioned before, consists of over 40 staff, most of whom are instructors and educators, and their service area does cover Berry County. So when I was in my educator role, I might have been based in Ottawa County, but if there was a program need in any one of the 4, I would definitely meet those. So that is true for my colleagues as well. You're probably familiar with Charles Gould. I think he did a presentation for the Board of Commissioners earlier, actually 2024. He was featured in our annual report. We also have Martine, who is our dairy educator. We have so many educators throughout the region and even close by in the Southwest Michigan region who provide programming right here in Berry County as well. So we all work together to continue to ensure that our communities get the resources and the education and the expertise that they need. And we thank you once again for working alongside us and partnering with us and supporting us to ensure that this work happens. So thank you, and I will now stop and ask for any questions you may have.
Questions from commissioners?
Okay, so
Yes.
are you basically trying to say that some services that were provided to Berry County residents are no longer going to be provided, or just due to staffing? Or what are you trying to tell us here?
The SNAP Ed program has been eliminated nationwide.
Yeah.
So we don't have any nutrition instructor currently based out of Berry County. We still have health and nutrition programming. So each of the 4 institutes we still will provide programming, just not nutrition like we once did.
So if you have less staff, and you mentioned that you needed a 3% increase for staff and stuff like that, is that, something doesn't sound right here?
No, it's a good question. The MOA specifically covers our 4-H program and our clerical support staff. It never covered the SNAP staff or the other staff. That's what we bring to the table. So I guess you could say maybe the ratio might be a bit less as opposed to a 2-to-1. It's maybe a 1.5-to-1. But we're still bringing a lot to the table, and the MOA strictly covers just the 4-H program and the clerical support staff.
Office hours going to change at all?
No. At this time, our office hours are Tuesday to Thursday, 9 to 12:30, and then 1 to 3, and then Monday or Fridays by appointment only. So it'll remain that way. Our clerical support staff, as long as we get the partnership support that we need, will continue as was in the previous year.
Okay. And I don't know if this is a Luella question or an Eric question. Did we get this in time for the budget? Was this included in our budget for next year?
Yes.
Okay, it was? Okay.
My predecessor, or rather the interim district director, submitted the numbers before I even joined in, so very grateful for him doing that.
Okay.
I
Commissioner
had one
Bassett?
other question, yes, please. So in the agreement, it talks about an optional
yes.
.5 4-H person. Is that the .5 4-H person that's already in it, or is that an addition?
It
That's one
is.
that's already there.
That's Lily.
Oh, okay.
That's Lily Rose. Typically, only .5 FTE is within the base agreement, and then if you want to purchase more to that, to have a full-time, that's when you have that optional. It's not really optional, it's more based on what the county would prefer to have. In some of our neighboring counties, we have multiple additional options kind of bought in to the agreement, and in others, it's very, just the base.
Okay, thank you.
Do we do this on a yearly basis, this contract?
Yes, we do.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking we had a 3-year contract in place, but
That would be great.
my mistake. So, okay.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Getty?
You mentioned with the cuts in Eaton County that we're seeing more Eaton County folks
Yes.
want to participate in Berry County programming.
4-H programming specifically.
How does that work? And, you know, I know, because I work with Lily Rose quite often, and she has passion for the work, but you can only do so many meetings and support so many programs. So is that going to put more pressure on her?
Well, undoubtedly, the workload will increase, but most of the work is done by the volunteers. So she provides that administrative support. I could actually invite Kelly to add a bit more because she would give a bit more context, but her direct work would be in those interactions with the volunteer leaders. Why don't you share a bit more?
Yeah, we are anticipating a slightly larger workload. We have 4 clubs that are moving over from Eaton County, so those are the youth that we haven't added into our numbers yet, and their volunteers have already started to shift over. Lily has had really great support from our previous temp, Stephanie, who was working 21 to 29 hours, and we do feel pretty strongly that if we are able to continue with that part-time staff to support Lily, that she'll be able to accommodate the additional workload. But it also gives us access to more volunteers, more skills. So with the youth comes the additional volunteers, and we are blessed to have Lily. She does an amazing job here, and we've also got a statewide team that will support her in the transition of some of the Eaton County folks. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Additional questions? Okay. I think we've had a good partnership with MSU Extension for several years. They do a lot of good things in the community, especially with the kids. So I will support this. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of the 2026 Memorandum of Agreement between Berry County and Michigan State University Extension.
Support.
You make the motion?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Geez, I'm sorry.
And
Excuse me.
Bassett, support? Okay. Haven't done this for a week or so.
Yeah,
so
I
we
was
gotta
going to say,
practice.
lost my way already.
Motion by Tunison, support by Bassett for approval of the 2026 Memorandum of Agreement between Berry County and Michigan State University Extension. Additional discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Hatfield,
Aye.
Smucker's absent, Tunison,
Aye.
Bassett,
Aye.
Carlton's absent, Campbell's absent, Getty.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Thank you,
Thank you
Kai.
all so much. We appreciate your partnership.
Emily, Register of Deeds. Good morning.
Good morning. Emily Reed, Register of Deeds for Berry County. I am here to request approval to send some of our historic plat documents to CoFile to get them preserved and redigitized. Some background, we have, so whenever a property is subdivided, one of the processes that they can use is to plat it, and we have a collection of original documents going back to the 1830s of these plat maps. They include lots, roads, parks, lakes, and we frequently have constituents that come in, or title searchers who need to go back to these original documents to see things like lot dimensions, if there's lake access, the details and the rules behind that. And our documents were, they were handled a lot, so in order to protect them, they were mounted onto cardboard and laminated, which at the time was probably the best thing to do, but it caused some issues when they were originally imaged. They were put onto microfilm, and the laminate caused, there's some glare, there's some wrinkles, fold lines, and so the current versions that we have in our computer system right now are, for a lot of these older ones, they're hard to see. They're hard to read. We have to frequently go back to the original documents to get people things like dimensions, and I would like to get them re-imaged so that we can have nice, crisp, clear images to be able to print off for customers. CoFile, this is Clark from CoFile. We've worked with them in the past. They have submitted a proposal to get this project done. A couple years ago, they did our abstract books. They preserved them and imaged them for us. They did an awesome job. There's some details in the proposal about that process. And so they're the only company that can delaminate our pictures before they can be re-imaged, which is going to be necessary in order to avoid the complications that we had last time. So that is why I have only a proposal from CoFile. The plan is to pay for this project with the Register of Deeds Automation Fund, which is specifically set aside by state statute. It's a portion of our recording fees goes into this fund so that my office can make technology purchases or services that can improve our recording, our indexing, and our searching. And getting these images updated is going to help searchers a lot. The project is for 926 pages of plats, which is the front and back side of each piece of paper. It is very likely that once we can get the pictures off of the cardboard that there will be a lot of blank pages, I hope. I hope they didn't cover anything up, so we will not need to image a lot of those blank pages, so the total cost will probably come down. And that's what happened with our last project. The final payment was canceled, and we were able to get a refund of some of the money we had already paid into it after they were able to get in and get a full assessment. There is currently already enough money in the fund to cover the whole project. We have it broken down into 4 payments. One will be made this year with funds that were approved in 2025 budget. The rest were approved in the 2026 budget. So, do you have anything to add about CoFile?
Sure. So it was in 2023. Barb was the Register of Deeds at the time. We worked with 36 of her tract books, some of which were laminated and really falling apart. The pages were brittle. Cracking pages had been ripped out of the books as well. So the ones that had lamination were removed. We removed any of the tape. Tape is always holding something together, so we mended that back with a tissue that's not going to damage the paper anymore. We then treated the paper and put it in a patented pocket that we created, which is not sealed, so you can still access the paper document itself, but it is airtight. And then we have fire and waterproof binders, which we also patented, that the books are now in back in the vault here at the Register of Deeds office. So the plats will be treated in the same sort of way. We will remove any lamination, remove any tape, clean each page, and get them to the best working condition possible so that we can get a good, clear image of them once they are removed from that backing too. And so CoFile has been working with counties across the state and across the country for quite some time, and happy to be here to help Emily with this project again.
Okay, questions from commissioners? I was a little shocked when I read the proposal, and it's like 193 point something per document, and I didn't understand the process. It's like, what is all going into it? So I'm like, wow, it's expensive on a per page basis when you look at the cost of that. You had mentioned that we had these on microfilm.
Yes, all of our documents are microfilmed, and then they're digitally in the system, but I'm not sure when they were done. It's been a while.
Okay, I was going to say, do we have anything that will read microfilm, and can we get better images of these than the current actual physical document?
So it's the the way that they were imaged originally onto microfilm, that is where all the issues are. They're very pixelated. It's hard to zoom in and get the detail that people need. That's where we took our digital images from originally. We took the microfilm and uploaded it. And so that's what we need to get redone.
Technology's come a long way since the 1830s.
Yes, definitely.
Slightly improvement, so, you know.
And these they're 18 by 24 maps, so they're not just letter-sized pieces of paper. So I think that goes in a little bit into the cost.
Okay. Yeah, those are bigger pages. Questions? Additional questions?
I've struggled because I've had to work with those, and, specifically, there can be a lot of conflict around lake access and the specific language that was in the original plat, and we can't lose that information. I mean, this is a big investment, but so are legal proceedings.
Right.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion for approval to accept and award the proposal for co-file to preserve and image 926 pages of the Berry County Register of Deeds plat collection in the amount not to exceed $179,366.20 from the Register of Deeds Automation Fund.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Getty for approval to accept and award the proposal from co-file to preserve and image 926 pages of the Berry County Register of Deeds plat and collection in the amount not to exceed $179,366.20 from the Register of Deeds Automation Fund. Additional discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call a roll?
Smelker's absent, Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent, Campbell's absent, Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with that. Some farmland and open space preservation. I see Sarah's name's on it, but Jeff normally does them, so tag team.
So yeah, there's a little bit of a change when we were looking at some procedures and the clerk's supposed to present it, which doesn't make sense because I don't know what we're doing. So Jeff so graciously said that he'd come help me. So what we've got, do you want to do both of them at the same time or just one?
Let's do them individually.
Okay, so 25-24 is for Cooper's Family Farms LLC, and that's located in Section 2 of Irving Township. So that application was submitted on October 6th to us. We went through the 30-day waiting process. There has not been any objections from the Conservation District or the Township. And the Planning Commission met on October 27th, and they unanimously recommended to approve it.
Okay. We've seen several of these come across your desk in the years, and you'll see several more. Of course, this year we've been seeing reverse versus seeing these, I've gone through this. This looks like standard operating procedure for most of these. I didn't see anything high, low, or otherwise, so this looks like it was done and approved by the Planning Commission as normal, so the county board typically follows suit with that. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of the farmland and open space preservation application number 2025-4 for the Caparis Family Farms LLC located in Section 2 of Irving Township.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Bassett for approval of the farmland and open space preservation application number 2025-4 for Caparis Family Farms located in Section 2 of Irving Township. Any discussion? I'd say, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
I can.
Okay, call the roll.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent. Getty.
Aye.
Smelker's absent. Hatfield.
Aye.
Campbell's absent. Tunison.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye.
Okay, perfect.
The motion is approved.
The next one is 2025-5, and that is basically the same thing. Was that one?
60 acres in
Thank
Carlton.
you. Carlton Township, yep. That was that one was.
Okay.
So moved.
Support. Motion by Hatfield, support by Tunison for approval of the Farmland and Open Space Preservation Application number 2025-5 for the Caparis Family Farms LLC located in Section 6 of Carlton Township. Is there additional discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Campbell's absent. Tunison.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smelker's absent. Getty.
Aye.
Carlton's absent. And Bassett.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you.
What about Jackson?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't I
Oh,
get a vote?
Jackson, I knew you were going to say yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then my last thing is just, we're supposed to annually go over our fee schedule, and I did that. Nothing's changed from last year, so I'm just asking for approval of our fee schedule that has been approved previously.
Okay. Would someone like to make that motion?
moved.
Support. Getty or Bassett?
I think it was all of us.
Okay.
So who was it? Getty?
Motion by Hatfield, support by Getty for adoption of Resolution 25-30, resolution approving the fees for Berry County Clerk's Office for fiscal year 2025. And as noted, there are no changes to the fee schedule this year. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Hatfield?
Aye.
Tunison?
Aye.
Campbell's absent. Bassett?
Aye.
Carlton's absent. Getty?
Aye.
Smelker's absent, and Jackson.
Aye.
Gotcha. Thank
The
you.
motion is approved. Thank you, Sarah. Luella.
Good morning.
I missed what?
So I'm here to bring a request to approve for
I guess so.
the general fund, department heads, non-represented employees, and elected officials, approval to replace the current dental optical hearing reimbursement accounts with dental and vision fully insured plans. This would have a 80% employer cost share and a 20% employee cost share. It would be effective on 1/1/26. Just to explain a little bit about the current program has been in place for many, many years, and it provides reimbursement for IRS eligible expenses for dental, vision, and hearing. The way it works is each January 1st, an amount of money gets placed on account for employees, and they can submit receipts during the year for dental, vision, hearing expenses, and those have to be signed by the doctor, and, it has to be approved, and then those checks would go out through accounts payable to the employees. Any balance that an employee has in their account at the end of the year would roll forward, and it keeps accumulating basically until they leave employment. When they leave employment, if they have money left in that account, it's forfeited. It is solely for the purpose of reimbursing dental, vision, hearing expenses, since we do not offer insurance. So what we have heard from employees over the years is that they, at least some of them, would be interested in having dental and vision coverage. With the contracts, the union contracts expiring this year, and looking at renegotiating those, it seemed like a good time to propose this. We also joined the West Michigan Health Insurance Pool in 2024, and the dental coverage that we're requesting is actually through the pool. It's a plan that they offer, and they are self-funded, and they basically reimburse. So while it uses an established network, they actually cover in-network and out-of-network reimbursements. So that, we believe that is a good benefit. We have heard too that from some department heads, as they're interviewing people for positions, that because we don't offer dental vision, that has been a hurdle for some people to take a job with Berry County. So that's the purpose of the request. We have proposed this to each of the bargaining units as well. What we're hearing is they're somewhat open to it, but we're not at a place yet with those agreements that we can get it in place and offer it to them effective 1/1/26. We're hopeful that as we get those agreements settled, that they will agree to the coverage, and we would probably look to enroll them on 1/1/27. So the request that's before you proposes that in January of this year, that we would issue employees a check for the amount that's still in their account, just these employees, the general fund, and that would be taxed, and we would issue that and be done with that liability moving forward. What we have heard from a few employees is that they would be interested in having a little bit more time to submit expenses for reimbursement versus taking the money less taxes. So administration is open to that if the board chooses to do that, and we could look at extending the opportunity for employees to use that, what they have in their account with no new money going in January 1st, giving them a year or two to spend that. And then at that point, if they haven't spent it, we would cash it out less taxes.
What's the current benefit right now? Is it 800 or is it 1,000 a year?
So it depends on the employee group. For these employees, the general fund, non-represented department heads, elected officials, and central dispatch employees, it's $1,000 that goes into the account January 1st. For a long time, it was $500, and then in the last bargaining unit contract with the courthouse, it increased incrementally by $100 each year until it reached $1,000. The law enforcement unions are still at the $500 per year. That was what they bargained. They took the money in wages instead of having an increase in the dental and vision account. So.
Okay, I was just using fuzzy math, 250 employees at $1,000, you're $250,000 in cost. I don't know what our current program cost us per year. Probably hard to tell because not everybody uses it. Some of it rolls over into savings. It always seemed to me like that's an administrative nightmare to keep track of 250 individuals with receipts and payments. This is going to be much simpler. The question is cost. Is it cost neutral? Is it is this going to save money? Is this an additional expense that we're taking on? And do we have a number for what that's going to cost, or is that not quite baked into the cake yet?
So it was a challenge. It was a challenge to answer that question and estimate how much this would cost. I did a census back in July, I think, and I took a look at the employees that we have that are eligible for health insurance and the number that were on single, two-person, and family plans. And if we used that census and we assumed that all of those employees would also sign up for dental and vision at the one-person, two-person family, the insurance, the 80% that the employer would pay is, I think, roughly $7,000 or $8,000 more than providing the reimbursements that we provide. But there again, like you had mentioned, there is an administrative component to reimbursing all those receipts.
Yeah. That seems cost neutral at $7,000. That's without the time you're going to put into chasing documents and issuing checks and stuff, I think that's a good benefit. Questions from commissioners?
No, I agree.
Commissioner Getty?
So I emailed a question to see if it was possible to transfer the balances that employees had into an HSA so they could avoid that tax consequence, because it's pre-tax, and maybe you can share the answer with
Yeah, so
everyone.
I don't know quite how we would do that, right? Because in order to issue the payment and to move that money, you're going to incur taxes. We can't just
'Cause
move it over
it's
here and
not
put it over
transferred.
here. It's going to have to go, and so that, at that point, it would be considered income, right? But what you could do, and I'm not an accountant, but I think just like with any other after-tax contribution that a person might make to an HSA account, they probably can deduct that on their taxes and get the tax benefit on the other side.
And I mean, I like the option of a year to use some of that money down, because we know there'll be a big tax consequence, so they can use those benefits they've earned.
Right, and, it was kind of sprung on some employees that, while we have been talking about this in administration for a while, and even maybe with some of the department heads, that we were looking at offering this to the unions, and it was offered to the unions as early as last May, when we started negotiating. It really wasn't communicated to all of the people that would be affected by this until the last couple of weeks, so yeah.
Thank you.
No, I think that's well thought out. Marcia?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just want to comment that this will be a really big boost for hiring. People are shopping for benefits. They're very, very favorable to have good benefits. And when you can say, yes, we have health insurance, dental insurance, that says a lot, and I think that will help you. So that was my only comment.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? The chair will entertain a motion for approval to replace the dental, optical, hearing reimbursement account benefit for general fund non-represented employees and elected officials with the attached dental and vision fully insured plans with an 80% employer, 20% employee cost sharing, effective 1/1/26, and to cash out any remaining balances. Wait a minute, I'm reading the wrong one.
Till
That's okay.
27.
It's just tacked on the end.
So far, okay. Through January 2027, allowing employees the option to submit eligible expenses for reimbursements against any remaining balance as of 12/31/25 through or by 12/31/27.
Correct. Yep.
Correct? Okay.
Yep. Support.
Motion by Bassett, support by Tunison, for approval to replace the dental, optical, hearing reimbursement account benefit for the general fund, non-represented employees and elected officials with the attached dental and vision fully insured plans with an 80% employer, 20% employee cost sharing, effective 1/1/26, and cash out any remaining balances in employees' reimbursement accounts, less taxes in January 2026 or in January 2027, allowing employees the option to submit eligible expenses for reimbursement against any remaining balances as of 12/31/25, but before 12/31/27. Additional discussion. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bassett?
Aye.
Carlton's absent, Campbell's absent, Getty?
Aye.
Hatfield?
Aye.
Smoker's absent, Tennyson?
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Thank you for your work on that. Much appreciated. That's a step we needed to take, so. Eric?
Mr. Chair, Commission, you had the MSU agreement today. This is the time of year we tend to do our annual agreements, and our annual agreement with the EDA, the Berry County Chamber and Economic Development Alliance, is due for renewal. In the budget and in the document in front of you, we're proposing a flat, no increase to the amount, so it's $152,585, which breaks down to $125,585 for EDA services, $15,000 to support career technical education efforts, and $12,000 for the Placer AI program, which has been very beneficial. I think you heard Dan Patton talk about that on some of their grant applications and some others. It's been very beneficial in helping to get hundreds of thousands of grant dollars to the county. So administration's recommending approval of the agreement for 2026.
Okay. No increases from 2025, so that's a flat.
We did not provide any increases. We did, however, administratively take on 2 committees that the EDA used to run, so the Land Bank and the Brownfield Authority, which honestly are both county committees, so we should be staffing them. So Jeff, if he left, Jeff handles the Brownfield Authority and I staff the Land Bank, so.
Absolutely. And I hope most of you are getting the committee notes from them now with an update on what's happening. Jennifer Heinzman and Nicole have done a fantastic job. I mean, literally boots on the ground in any aspect you can think about with childcare, housing, broadband. And for those of you who were at the Economic Summit, very well done, great information, just talking about the future, what's happening, where the county's positioned versus the state, just some really detailed information. So they're doing an outstanding job. I think this is money well invested in moving our county forward, so.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just the broadband expansion alone that I've seen throughout areas that have never had it, right? And I've had people actually tell me, wow, we actually have high speed now. You know, they've never, ever been able to have. So I was very impressed with how aggressive they've been with that.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have the information in front of me, but I took a picture of that slide and at the meeting, and they were talking about Rutland Township, there's the BEAD grants, the broadband expansion is over 7,500 residents in Berry County now have high speed. Coming soon, Rutland Township is getting an additional 200 plus, Hickory Corners around 500, and Orangeville Township's getting a bunch more, and these are just the ones we know of right now. They redid the BEAD grants with new requirements, so there was some changes in how that program's set up, so we anticipate a lot more coming, but that's a major milestone to have 7,500 residents with high speed.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that when we moved back to the county was imperative. My wife works a lot from home, so if she didn't have it, she couldn't do that. So I think they mentioned they were positioned to have the whole county covered with plans that were initially provided, but because of the budget cuts, they're down to about a third with those announcements. So about 2/3 of the county and 2/3 of the people who don't have it are still out there. So they're continuing to work on that issue. But I know they're in Delton. I know they're in Woodland. I know they're in Nashville. One of the things that they did, honestly, they did ask for more money. I mean, every group asks for more money, and I said, well, it's not at the point we can do that at this time. But I said, you need to go out and talk to your other communities, your townships, your cities, your villages, and to their credit, they have. I know Nashville stepped up. I know Berry Township has stepped up. I believe Woodland has stepped up. So that's one of those things that they'll continue to work with the other entities. And then my first job was in economic development in a county. It's a tough job, especially when people look at it and go, well, all the stuff's happening in Hastings, or it's all happening in Middleville, what are you doing? And for the staff that they have, they're everywhere. So I will tell you, kudos to Jen and Nicole and everybody else at the Chamber and EDA, because it's not an easy job, and it's a long-term job. So we're investing for the long term. You're not going to see results. You'll see some results, but expect them in 6 months, it's not going to happen. It takes time and it takes effort.
Absolutely. Additional questions or comments?
I mean, I just have a comment to echo what you're saying. I mean, Delton is winning in a huge way from what these people are doing. And, they'll answer the phone anytime and help us. And they're on speed dial, and it's been wonderful to work with them. So I'd like to support this.
Okay.
I would just, echo that. I think, one of their biggest challenges are that, for the most part, they don't do these things alone. They do it in partnership, and they have an almost endless list of partners that they work with. And oftentimes they are, I think, almost too willing to share credit that they deserve. So when they have to go back and do their fundraising, they're not always getting credit for everything that they truly are responsible for. And yeah, we've talked about broadband, but you can say the same thing in terms of housing and some other infrastructure improvements. So yeah, as a board member, I'm very proud of what they have managed to do. And yeah, I look at where they are now compared to where they were 7 or 8 years ago. They are truly a countywide organization and having a countywide impact. They've come a long way from the time they were the Hastings Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Yes. Additional comments? The chair will entertain a motion for approval of the agreement for economic development services between Berry County and the Berry County Chamber and Economic Development Alliance for a period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. Who would like to make
So
that
moved.
motion?
I'll make that motion.
Tunison, support by
Support.
Bassett. Motion by Tunison, support by Bassett for approval of the agreement for economic development services between Berry County and Berry County Chamber and Economic Development Alliance for a period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. Additional discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Carlton's absent, Campbell's absent, Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smoker's absent, Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Now we're going to go backwards, since you guys didn't stop me earlier.
Figured you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, well, looks can be deceiving. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $15,163,977.39.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Getty, support by Hatfield for approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $15,163,977.39. Discussion. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Carlton's absent, Campbell's absent, Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smoker's absent, Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye, the motion is approved. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of claims in the amount of $70,392.25.
So moved.
Support.
That Tunison, motion by Hatfield, support by Tunison for approval of claims in the amount of $70,392.25. Discussion. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Campbell's absent, Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smoker's absent, Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent, and Jackson.
Aye, the motion is approved. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of commissioner reimbursement mileage in the amount of $282.80.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Bassett for approval of commissioner reimbursement mileage in the amount of $282.80. Discussion. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smoker's absent, Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent, Campbell's absent, and Jackson.
Aye, the motion is approved. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we have none. County Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This week, we have 4 software demos, which we'll finish up, hopefully, knock on wood, our review of ERP software. And my goal is at the meeting in 2 weeks that we'll have a recommendation for you to consider so we can move that project forward. We're down to 2 financial full ERPs and 2 separate standalone payroll HR softwares that we're going to consider. Do we do standalone completely or do we take parts? So that's something the staff is working on. We'll have those demos this week. If you didn't know, Jeff Hall is out for a few weeks, had surgery. I understand it went well as can be expected, so just sharing that, so if you know Jeff, you just drop a line or just check in with him. I know Rick and Christian are keeping things going in his absence. And he had, before he left, he did start communication with the courthouse controls project, so we'll be working with staff in this building to update the HVAC controls and hopefully keep any disturbances to a minimum. Those are the big issues going on right now at the county.
Okay, thank you. Chairperson's report. Commissioner Getty and I had an opportunity to sign the final documents for the Bailey Nature Preserve at long last. It's been a process, but been a project, what, 7 years, 10 years, something like that? That's been,
Close to 10.
but hear the enthusiasm from the Bailey family on how that project is and preserving that property for future generations, and the plans going forward, absolutely amazing. So that's going to be a real gem for Berry County. So, but that's all I have. We're at the beginning of the cycle. Vice Chairperson's report.
Last week, this is not an assignment to me as a commissioner, but I did participate in some meetings that the Hastings Downtown Development Authority held. They are in the process of putting together a 5-year strategic plan for the DDA district. The DDA district includes not only downtown, but also the M43 corridor and the Green Street corridor, at least on the south side. So it's a big area. When you look at just the downtown, we're certainly the largest landowner in that area. We're probably the second largest landowner in the entire DDA district, behind the hospital. We're also the largest employer in the downtown. So what this downtown looks like is very important to us. And I think that you're going to have an opportunity to participate in a survey that's being distributed that will help compile that final recommendation for that plan. I would strongly encourage all of you to participate in that, because we need to understand not only our perceptions, our being those of us that live in Hastings, what our perceptions are of the downtown, but what other perceptions exist within the county, and what do we need to do to continue to make it a great place to visit and to work.
Thank you. Commissioner Tunison.
Yeah, I'll be going to Hastings Charter tomorrow night, but I haven't had any meetings since then. So.
Okay. Commissioner Getty.
I have Thornapple Township tonight and the Village of Middleville on Wednesday night. The meeting was shifted because of Veterans Day.
Okay.
Busy
Commissioner
week.
Bassett.
Yeah, upcoming meetings, Berry Community Mental Health, Orangeville, Prairieville, and Substance Use Disorder Task Force. So,
Busy week. Limited public comment at this time. Any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes for anything on your mind.
I just want to thank the Christian School for bringing the students in, and we don't get educated enough on local government, and local government's where it's at, in my opinion. You got townships, villages, cities, counties, and these are all sovereign offices, and it's important we keep it that way. Same thing with the sovereign office of the sheriff or the prosecutor or the judges. That way we don't centralize everything in one spot. So we end up with an oligarchy or something like that. So it's very important you guys understand the importance of local government and getting involved, because how many of you guys up there are getting younger? I'm not, and we need your generation to come in and fill these shoes here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody, any member of the Berry County Christian class want to do public comment and give us an update on what you're studying in government these days? You'd be welcome to give us a few minutes.
Nixon's eyes.
2 weeks?
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Oh, perfect, okay. Perfect, okay.
Commissioner comments. Commissioner Bassett.
Yes, we had our DKEF breakfast at the Moose this last Saturday. Bruce was in attendance. We had a wonderful turnout, raised $1,200, and it went really well, and I only burned a few pancakes, so that was pretty good. And then the other thing is that I did apply with Barry Bauer in Barry Township for a grant from MISHDA for the infrastructure for Stepping Stones development, which is the revitalized Delton development. We applied for $1.5 million for infrastructure from MISHDA. So we'll be asking for letters of recommendation from elected officials and looking forward to going through that process, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you. Commissioner Getty.
I think those that attended the summit heard that consumers awarded Mill Street Market the largest grant award in the county's history, so $125,000 to go towards the construction of Mill Street Market.
Huge.
Huge, yeah, a big impact. And then tomorrow for Veterans Day, Thornapple Kellogg High School hosts a service, and they bring in the whole high school student body. If you've never attended that, it really is quite a moving service. They include students and veterans, and it's a full gymnasium of folks, so that's at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Awesome. I know Delton does the same thing. I don't know what time it is tomorrow.
Well, Delton had theirs on Friday at 11 o'clock. I failed to mention that. Yeah, always very impactful. Mhm.
Okay. Commissioner Tunison.
I want to thank the kids that attended today. I mean, that's really important that these kids get involved, right? But I think Commissioner Napfield and I are going to be going out and speaking with them on the 20th, and looking forward to that. But I want to talk a little bit about the Barry County Fair, too, and the youth of the 4-H program. Every year when I go there, I think I've mentioned this before, but I really get encouraged by these kids that are in these 4-H programs on how they interact with adults. And I think the sheriff alluded to that a little bit about look people in the eye, and that's what these kids do. They come up, they shake your hand, they look in the eye, they're confident, and that's what the life skills are going to need, right? And I think that's what 4-H really embodies. And if the Barry County Christian kids can take anything from that, when you meet adults, look them in the eye. That goes a long ways. When you actually look at somebody, when you're shaking their hand, it means something to people. So, but that's what I get encouraged every time I go to the Barry County Fair by these kids, that they're going to be the future leaders, right? And they're being taught a good path from the 4-H programs. So that's about all I got.
Commissioner Hatfield.
Last week, as part of the city's Planning Commission and Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, I had an opportunity to sit in on a joint session between those groups and the Hastings City Council to listen to some outside consultants from SME talk about the changes to the tax increment financing regulations of the state. They were particularly talking about the opportunities that now exist for TIFs within residential development, and I know that's one of the things that's being looked at in Delton for the new project down there. These are, the use of TIF I don't think is necessarily universally well understood or appreciated. The folks from SME did an excellent job, and while I thought I was reasonably well informed, I learned a lot. So I know we're going to need to be talking about that too, as it will come into play on some projects that will necessitate our approval. I'll be happy to share what I learned with you and my perspective on it. So it was a great meeting. Travis Alden, who many of you remember when he was head of the Economic Development Alliance here, was one of the main presenters from SME, and he and his partner did a great job. So.
Thank you. I don't have a lot other than be careful out there. The weather has changed. It is beautiful. And be careful out there because, as the sheriff would probably attest, there are deer running around everywhere right now, and you'll see several of them sleeping along the side of the road right now. So I don't know if we're...
I hit one
Did you?
this weekend. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I about had somebody hit me on the way to work because they were coming fast around a curve. But I think we're still in the top 10 in the state in car deer collisions, Dar, is that correct?
Yeah.
Top 5 if we really work on it, so, but...
The EHD hasn't hit us, then we're usually in the top 2 or 3. It used to be us in Kent County battling back and forth for years, and then the EHD hit that knocked it right down.
So, remember, deer aren't that heavy, hit your brakes, don't swerve. So, and if you really want to help out, get a firearm. Deer season starts on Saturday, so get a firearm and get out there and help save the corn and the soybeans. So, thank you, be safe, have a great week.